Well, hello. Today's lesson, lesson 115, is on linear inequalities. I think you will find it very easy. I'm excited. We are skipping 114 for time's sake. You are more than welcome to read over it. It's pretty basic about using your calculator for growth and decay, but for time's sake, we're going to skip that one. All right, so let's look at 115. I want to remind you, if you were graphing this line, y equals x plus 1, you would start at the y-intercept at plus 1. You would see a slope of 1, so you would go up 1, over 1, connect your dots, and draw your line. Okay, so you know how to do that. So today, instead of having an equal here, we have inequalities. So you may have, instead of equal, you may have y is less than x plus 1. Or you may have y is greater than x plus 1. Or y is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. All right? You're just not going to have the equal sign. So let's say that y is less than x plus 1. So I treat it as though it's at equal, and I plot it either using slope-intercept or maybe using intercepts if it's in standard form, or a table, an XY table, and you plug in points. That'll work as well. We tend to like slope-intercept. It's pretty simple. So what we do then, this is our starting point would be that it's equal. Now, if y is less than, my gut feeling is that I'm going to shade below this line, okay? Because I'm including things that are less than this line, okay? And so what you'll be doing, you're not doing the exact line, but you're either going to shade above it if it's greater, you're going to shade below if it's less, all right? So you'll do something like that, okay? Now, because it's less than, I don't want to include this line. So what I'm going to do is make this dashed. If I include it by saying less than or equal to, then I'll leave it solid, okay? But if it's less than or greater than, then I want this to be dashed. And so you're just going to do something like this, okay? You get the idea, just a dashed line. And again, shading below. Now, if you're confused, like you think, well, I don't know, am I supposed to shade under it or above it? I don't really understand. Then what you do is plug in a test point. Now, an easy test point to pick is 0, 0, right? That should be included in your graph. In other words, if I plug in 0, 0 as a test point into this, it should be true. So let's do that. Let's plug in 0, 0 for our test point. If we let y be 0, is 0 less than x is also 0 plus 1. Is this true? Is 0 less than 1? Yes. Good. I want that point that I plugged in to be true, to be included in my graphed area, my shaded area. All right? So that is our first presentation there. So let me do the first example. Also, I'd love for you to read through this lesson, but hopefully my presentation is going to be helpful. All right, so let's say that we have this inequality. We want to graph it. All right, so I'm going to, it's in slope-intercept, good. I'm going to start at 2 on the y-axis. My slope is a -1, so I'll think of that as -1 over 1. I'm going to go down 1 and over 1. There's my second point. All right. Now, it is greater than. All right. So I'm going to do a dashed line. All right. So it's dashed, not solid. And I want to shade greater than. Okay. So I'm thinking I want to shade above it, because I'm including any number that's in this region that will be true in this for this inequality. Now again, if you're unsure, let's pick a test point, okay? Again, let's pick 0, 0 for our test point. That's always the easiest number to plug in, the easiest coordinates. Now, if we plug in 0, 0 here, It's not included in our graph. So if we plug it in, we should get a false statement if we have shaded correctly. I hope you're getting all that logic. Remember, it's not included in our shaded area, so it should be false when we plug it in if we've shaded correctly. All right, so let's see. 0 for y greater than 0 plus 2. Is this true? Oh, it's false. 0 is not greater than 2. Well, that's good. I wanted it to be false. I don't want it included in my shaded area. So we're good to go. Again, if that is confusing, maybe you want to rewatch that. Hopefully it'll make sense the second time. All right, let's do another. Let's do y is less than or equal to 2x minus 1. Okay, so didn't slope intersect? Wonderful. We would start at -1. The slope is 2, which I think of as 2 over 1. I will go up 2 and over 1. Now this is less than or equal to, so I can do a solid line. All right, it's less than, so my inclination is to shade below. If you're not sure, can't leave yet. Not quite sure, you think, okay, here's my test point. It is not in my shaded region, so I don't want it to be true. So I'm plugging in 0, 0. All right, is 0 less than -1? No. Good. I wanted it to be false because it's not in my shaded area. So I have shaded correctly. Good to go. Okay, now you may have lines like this. Y is greater than -2. All right, well, we know that Y lines are horizontal, right? Where every value of Y is at -2, 0, -2, 1, -2, 2, -2. So in this case, I'm going to have a dashed because it is greater than through Y is -2. I want greater than, so I'm going to shade above. Now, I want to do an example that's not in the book because this is something that you will see in Algebra 2. So here's what happens sometimes. You might have, let's do this one, -x plus 2, and then let's do x is greater than 3. Sometimes you'll have two inequalities, and you'll have to shade the intersecting portion. So our book didn't quite go that far, but you all are wise and bright enough to do this. So let's do one where we have two inequalities. And what you do is you graph on the same grid and you consider the intersection of both parts. All right, so let's take the first one. Let's take this first inequality. We're going to start at 2. We have a slope of -1, so we'll go down 1 and over 1. All right. This is less than, so I want a dashed line, and I want greater than, okay? So I'm gonna go like this. Now I'm shading just a little bit because, remember, I'm getting an intersection of the two lines, two inequalities. All right, so I've got the first one. Now let's do this one. X is greater than 3. Okay, X lines are vertical, right? So let me change colors, maybe that would be good. So 1, 2, 3. So this one is like this. And again, I want greater than. So what is the intersection of both of them? All right, well, do you see how I'm going this way and this way, right? So the intersection of both of them is in here. Okay, so it's like straight and then this way. So you may want to just erase, what's not included. You don't have to, but you want to make it really clear what you are including. So I'm going to give you one extra to practice, okay? That's double. All right, so let's look then at the practice. I'd like you to go ahead and do A, B, and C, and then I'm going to put up here an extra one. We'll call it D, and I would like you to graph, let's graph x less than 2 and y greater than or equal to x plus 1. Okay, so that's your extra problem. So I'm going to do these. You stop the video, get these done, and then we'll talk again. Having a hard time drawing a straight line today. There we go. That's good enough. All right, so for A, I have x is less than -2. X is a vertical line through -2, going to the negative infinity, all right? B, and as you notice, I have dashed, right, because of the less than. All right, for B, I'm using slope-intercept, so I started at -2. My slope was 3, so 3 up and then over 1, so rise 3, run 1, and then I connected my dots. This should be solid, and I'm shading less than, so I went this way. If you plugged in 0, 0, you would get a false statement because you do not want to include that. All right, here, this is also included, so I'm going to have a solid line. I'm going to start at 1 on my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 1 and over 2 because of the slope. I'm shading above because it's greater than. Again, 0, 0 should be false. It's not included in my shaded area. Now for the extra problem, I did x less than 2. Okay, I did dashed and I went this way. Okay, I also did y greater than or equal to x plus 1. So up 1. Here's 1 on the y-axis. My slope is 1, so up 1, over 1 for the second point. This is included, greater than or equal, so a solid line, shading greater than. All right, so where's my intersection? It's above this line and then going this way. Okay, so I don't want this little portion, I don't want that, and I don't want this. Okay, all right, so see Renweb, have a wonderful afternoon.